Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes. We have a fun episode for you today. It is Sybil and her girlfriends. Another venture, another journey into the lives of my girlfriends. And I think that you will. No, I know. You're going to enjoy this one. It is something that's quite topical and a topic of conversation that many of us have, if not on a daily basis, an hourly basis. So let's talk about dating and let's talk about these guys who claim to be dating experts and why do we listen to them? And got a lot of questions. And we also invite all of you to join us as well with your thoughts and your comments. So let's start with my friend Marcelina. Many of you know Marcelina from our Sybil in Bed with Her Girlfriends shows. And Marcelina is a young single woman out there on them streets of Dallas. And hi, Marcelina. How are
It's
you?
not safe out here. It's not safe.
It's not
It's not.
okay. Not safe on them streets. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for asking. Thanks for making time. I know that you're busy in the bakery kitchen, as it were, doing the crack cookies. So we appreciate it.
No problem.
And let us also welcome another dear friend, Elena. Elena, I don't think you've been on the shows with us with the girlfriend shows.
No, I think I did one test run and didn't work out so well for me. For me, so
Well, I don't want to say that it didn't work out because you're here.
yes.
So we're glad that you are, and also a young single woman on them streets, not in Dallas Fort Worth, but in another city, and so we thank you for that. And young Danya, Danya, thank you so much for joining us as single mom as well as Elena, and so we want to thank you for joining us too as a youngin who is single.
The youngest, I think, on the show today, but thank you for having me.
You are a youngin.
I
Always
don't
will
think I
be.
am anymore.
I know you feel the age thing, but I promise you, the older you get, the younger you're going to try to feel.
That sounds about right.
So, ladies, I just want to, I first of all, as I have already thanked you, I want to thank you again because we are talking about something that um, we're accustomed to talking to amongst ourselves with our girlfriends, sometimes with our guy friends, sometimes with our husbands who are encouraging us to get out and date too. But I do appreciate your opening up and being transparent with us today, and I hope that we will invite a lot of conversation as well. All right. So, the reason why we started this conversation is the recent death of Kevin Samuels, the self-described man who is a who was a self-help or a love guru of sorts amongst women. And I will say this: he became an Instagram sensation over the last couple of years, especially since we were in lockdown mode. And he became not only did he become a cult figure of sorts, but the parody of Kevin Samuel also became a bit of a favorite too. But he had a lot of women who would come on his Instagram program and or social media program and ask questions of him, and it to be completely transparent, it never made sense to me why women were listening to this man who didn't seem to like women, and especially black women. Among the one of his last viral hits had to do to women over 35 that he referred to as leftovers. That and you all are nodding, but I mean, he also said that he was echoing a line he claimed was used by the Chinese Communist Party. If you've made it to 35 and you're unmarried, you are a leftover woman.
Hmm.
We also want to talk about the fact that his death um, and I'm very sorry for his dying recently, and especially at the much too young age of 57. And so, as a wellness organization, we also have to look at the fact that, how does a man at his age die of a heart attack? And not to say there wasn't a good way to go, but you got to be considerate of the fact that he was much too young to die. And so we'll talk about also the need for us to check in and check up on each other. That's what we like to do here on It's Sybil and the What You Need to Know newsletter. So thank you for all doing this. And just initially, do you all have any thoughts about Kevin Samuel, and just starting with the fact that he was in his own apartment, but with a woman that he had just met, and she was a nurse and was able to do something on his behalf to try to save him as she recognized the signs of a heart attack. Do you all have any thoughts on that?
Well, I'm with you that I really don't understand why so many women would flock to him for advice.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me because one, you're a single male.
Right.
I just don't think anybody, if you're a single male, how can you give me advice on a relationship when you're not in a relationship?
That we knew of. That we knew of.
Right. And then just the way that he went, I know that I really didn't follow him or pay much attention to him. That just wasn't my thing.
Mhm.
But I do know that when he did pass, that it was there were a lot of people online like celebrating his death in a way.
Yeah.
Now that I don't agree with. I don't wish bad or death on anyone. Ever.
Exactly. I'm with you, Danya. I'm absolutely with you on that. Elena, you kind of giving us the side eye.
Yeah. The side eye. Yeah. Well, I didn't listen. It kind of was. It's kind of forced. It was forced upon us at some point to know a little bit about him from just Black culture. He became just popular. And so we, kind of had to get a little bit of understanding of who he was. I listened to maybe one or two clips and just thought it was the most atrocious thing. And, and just like Danya was saying, the women are calling, but there were men who were championing him as well. And that's right, brother, tell him. And it was just, I don't even know what hogwash is really, but it was so ridiculous to me.
Right.
And I just could not believe that he, it continued to grow, and it shows the lack of compassion for ourselves as Black people. And I just thought it was always amazing that he, at the end of the day, he became popular and made himself known by tearing down Black women and just the Black community as well, because he talked really bad to men as well at different points. If you didn't make a certain amount of money and that.
So this is the interesting thing. He had a real job. He was quite famous as a lifestyle guru and an advisor to men on fashion and lifestyle and things like that. And from all the looks of things, he had a business in which he
was that his job. Did he have a real job?
He had a real job. He had a business doing this. So he wasn't just sitting at the house or in his penthouse apartment or wherever it was, doling out advice and demeaning people. But Marcelina, what do you think? What do you think about all of this?
I do want to echo Danya's sentiments. I mean, he was somebody's family at the end of the day. The celebrations, although some of them were quite amusing, it's not funny. So I don't think we should make fun or light of anybody's death. But I mean, at the end of the day, I wasn't a fan of his, but I did indulge. I did watch the buffoonery. You said hogwash. It was buffoonery to me, but it was kind of like we accelerated it anyway, because why you keep calling? If you watch him demean other women, if you watch him tear them down, if you listen to these sentiments that this single person is giving out about how you should live your life, like, why do we keep calling and subscribing to it and just adding fuel to the fire? So it was crazy to me anyway.
Yeah. To me too, but as you all have said, And we cannot ignore the fact that he died at too young of and too young of an age, that he was somebody's son, he was somebody's father,
Mhm.
reportedly having a daughter from his first marriage, and he was loved by people, and so we want to send our condolences out to his family and to his friends for their loss, and to his daughter. No daughter having lost my father at such a young age. Nobody should go through that.
Mhm.
But it was just a sad situation, and so with that, and understanding that we are very sorry for his loss, I do want to continue the conversation about why women would ascribe to him. Why would they subscribe to him and his social media, for this kind of thing, when he calls us leftovers, or other things that he said about Black women especially, but women in general, and it just seemed like we are inviting abuse.
Right.
But people do
Right.
that, don't you see? I mean, people do that in. I mean, people do that often. I think it was just more displayed. I mean, it's all displayed, but it's always going should be surprising when someone does something that's just strange.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a whole sect of women who, who, I mean, people follow cults. I
Yeah.
mean, it's
Yeah.
just like all these things that
And
people.
we're in relationships, Selena, in which
Mhm.
they don't do anything to lift us up, and we have to be the ones to be strong enough to walk away from this. But it's
Right.
almost like, I don't know if any of you, and Elena, let's start with you. It's almost like looking at a car wreck. You can't
And
help but look and
Right.
see what is this guy saying now, or what is he doing now, or how are people responding, right?
true, but I will say that I did not. I literally, maybe when he first started, watched two little snippets and said, "This man's not talking about a bunch of nothing," and I refuse, to give any attention to it. And like I said, if there's a snippet or a headline from time to time, I didn't find out about the leftover thing until that was a big portion of, since he unfortunately passed.
Mhm.
But I just didn't. 70%. Oh yeah, 70% of people.
Yeah,
I just didn't. I just didn't fall. I just didn't even. I watch buffoonery. I have 2 hours of ratchet TV, so I'm not
you're not
excluding ratchet.
above.
Yeah,
You're
I'm not
not
above
above
ratchet TV.
hogwash.
Yeah, and hogwash.
Right.
But him, no. And I mean, and I felt, again, as adults, they were calling in. They were making a conscious decision to call in and take his advice or take his abuse. And so I'm not feeling sorry personally for the women who are making that decision, maybe on a very overall level of sad, their esteem, I would hope, is a little
Right.
better. But outside of that, I mean, it was entertainment, and he found a niche. He found an audience that people for some reason flock to it.
So, I understand we just had someone send in a message and say 70% of his
Mm-hmm.
subscribers were women, right?
Yep.
That's what Teresa Davis said on YouTube. The sad thing is that more than 70% of women subscribe to his channel. There are some women, there are some men and women out there who don't know who Kevin Samuel was. And
Mm-hmm.
so we have a quick snippet. Yolanda, if you want to give us that.
But if you have made it to 35 years old and you're unmarried, you are a leftover woman. A leftover woman. You are what is left. Men know that there's something likely wrong with you. Whether you want to hear it or not, I'm going to just go there with you. I'm telling you the truth that you don't want to hear. Men know that there's something likely wrong with you. But you cannot be fit in an adjustable 6 or higher, 35, unmarried. Something wrong with you.
Interesting.
Um,
Yeah.
I dare say all of us are over 35. and not married. But I want to just take a second, just let that ruminate for a second, because it is demeaning, it is insensitive, and yet it's what a lot of people think. And he is just promoting this. So let's just take a second and think about that. But also, as we continue this episode of It's Sybil, talking about dating and talking about the people that we get advice from, let me ask all of you, who do you go to for your dating advice? I think that there are any number of people that we could go to. Do we go to our girlfriends? Do we go to our married girlfriends, our single girlfriends? Do we go to our guy friends? Some of us may even go to our parents and ask for advice. Although I don't think it's that many asking mom and daddy for dating advice. Or they would probably like to have us come to them for that. But let's ask you, Marcelina, who do you go to for dating advice, if anything, if anyone?
I think it's a combination of everybody. You know, you have single girlfriends, you have married girlfriends, definitely dudes, definitely guys. You have certain male friends that you can just kind of like chop it up with, that you can get the information you need from them. But for me, mostly I kind of rely on myself, because I mean, at the end of the day, I'm the only person that I really have to answer to. So
and what's the best advice you've ever given yourself in regards to dating?
I mean, at the end, probably walk away. Like,
okay,
I'm quick to cut at some point, because I know we talk about Kevin Samuels. His delivery was absolute trash. I mean, we can't get past that, a lot of it. But when you go back and look at some of the stuff that he said, he wasn't always wrong. He really wasn't always wrong. And if we kind of look at ourselves, and if you know what you want, if you know what you're willing to accept and what you're going to tolerate, your advice is your best advice. Yeah. You know, am I going to be able to live the rest of my life or date this person that does these things to me? Is this acceptable? Am I going to accept that? Am I worth that? You know, so really you have to look at you at the end of the day. Good. So I will be the person to give myself the best advice.
Gosh, that's great. How about you, Danya? Who do you go to for dating advice?
Well, I am the absolute opposite of Marcy. I ask myself, however, I don't give myself the best advice. I'm very honest with myself. I know I don't give myself the best advice. So it's best for me to ask outsiders. So I go to girlfriends. I have a really, really good gay guy friend that I talk to a lot. And even there's an ex that I'm really close to, an ex-boyfriend. I go to him for advice because he knows me very well. We dated, so he knows. And then surprisingly, I do go to my parents, but in the back of my mind, I always remember that your parents look at you differently. And so they want someone for me that they see me with, as opposed to who I see me with. So I have to always keep that in mind whenever I go, because they are very, very, my mother is very, very hard.
But she wants the best for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But that's a really interesting point. And your choice of friends, because it seems pretty well-rounded as well. Okay, Elena, Jewel, what about you? What are we looking for? Who do you listen to? Who do you go to? What's the word? What's the haps?
I don't know. I think it might be the Aries thing over there with Marcelina, but it's me. I mean, I'll go to, my loved ones, my friends, to tell them a story or relay information to them and tell them what happened or etc. But in the end,
she's got great stories too. Oh my God.
but in the end, it is like Marcelina said, it's my decision. And I am very clear, and I've been very clear for a very long time, that no matter how great someone's story is, when it comes to relationships, dating, etc., that's not going to ever be my story. So that's not going to be my story. Like if you met someone at a skating rink and you guys were holding hands and dancing. That's a awesome story, and you guys been together for 30 years, but I'm probably not going to meet somebody at a skating rink 30 years. So that doesn't apply to me.
But not that specific thing, but okay, let me just ask you this. What advice have you taken from yourself that hasn't worked out so well?
The advice that I've taken from myself that has not worked out well is just
like,
go with it.
Like, have you walked away from somebody and you said, that wasn't smart on my part?
There's not been one person that I've walked away from and I've regretted.
Wow.
Not one.
That
Not
you're willing
one.
to admit.
No, that
I'm kidding.
Because I'm still in, just like Danya said, I'm still in connection with most of them, but there's not one. And so to me, that means that I truly just haven't met the person I'm supposed to meet, because these people are still in my life in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not, not going back. So, so I just assume that I just haven't met that person. And the advice that I give myself that probably hasn't worked is I'm just a believer, and you just go with it until, you doesn't have to be, I don't think you have to be in love with someone to, I don't think you have to have all these.
How is this working out for you right now, Elena? Are you willing to say this might not be the right path for me, and I need to refocus or to re-energize the whole situation?
I don't think it's that. I think that I think relationships are about just the timing of it all.
Mm-hmm,
I just think it's just the timing. I don't think that there can be many people this is all about the relationship gurus. We know about the Derek Jackson, and we obviously know about Kevin Samuels, but even the, let's say, high end, however we want to call a relation, people can give you advice, I guess, cross your legs when you're sitting down, and, but no one can really, when you're with one person individually, there's no one that I believe that can truly advise you on how that's going to work, unless there's some huge scenario, like, of course,
unless it's his mama who's telling you,
exactly, like if it's abuse, it's
Run
some
away.
type of like that, something like that, if it's a huge red flags. But my scenarios, most of the men that I've been with, most of them, other people would think that they're really great men, and they are in a lot of ways, but
just
they're
not the one
my
for you.
man.
Yeah.
And
Marceline, let me ask you, because Danya's giving us, the nod and things like that. You're I don't know, are you taking this all in, or are you thinking about it? How are things working out for you at this point in your dating life and taking your own advice?
I mean, I'm okay. I'm fine. I mean, I'm single, but I'm happy. I'm at peace because I don't have to deal with a lot of drama, or I don't have to deal with somebody else that's not, prepared to deal with me. So I don't think that I'm doing a bad thing by being single, or not dating anyone. But I mean, I'm out here. I'm in these streets. Like,
I know that's right.
If you're listening right now, I mean, like, holla, we can talk. We can see if this will match up. But I mean, I'm not pressed to go out on dates. I would absolutely love to, but if it's not for me, I've learned, I can sit patiently and wait for the right one to come along. So when the right one comes along and we're equally yoked and we're matched, then I won't have a problem, because he's gonna meet me at levels that I'm at. And I'm going to meet him at levels that he's at, and we're going to grow together. But I haven't found that. You find people that say they want relationships, but they still out here living a single life. You have people that are narcissists that, they want to control everything and do everything. And I'm like, I'm good in my space where I won't allow you to, disrupt my peace. Unless I feel like you are worthy of that opportunity in that time, then that's when I'll make my moves for it. So I'm cool.
Got it. Danya, hang on a second, because I want to get Danya in here. And we also have comments from people, and a gentleman that, so Yolanda, hold on to that. And Danya, I want to hear from you. So, and I want you to come in too, Elena. So it's a lot of juggling here. But Danya, you're nodding your head. So what do you think?
I will say that I am actively dating. I just feel like one, I'm too young to just always just be by myself. Two, if I don't date, how am I going to know, who I'm feeling at the moment? Yes, you can talk to someone, you can talk on the phone, you can text, blah, blah, blah. But I don't remember where I saw this. I'm sure it was Facebook because I'm always scrolling through Facebook. But there was a post, something they were like, date them all until you find the one. I was like, you know what? You're right. Because
what do
I
you got
did
to lose?
as a single mom. Yeah, exactly. And just, as a single mom with a daughter for a long time, I didn't date just because in my mind, I was thinking I didn't want a lot of different guys around my daughter. And I didn't want her to think that that was normal to see her mom with just different guys as I'm trying to figure myself out. So I didn't date for a long time. So now that she's older and I can go out and she can be home by herself and all that stuff. So I'm dating, having fun. If it happens, it happens. When it happens, prayerfully it'll happen soon. But if not, until then, I'll have fun.
Keep having fun. That's the key.
Exactly.
Elena, we're going to take your comment. You wanted to say something, and then we're going to go to the people that are watching.
Okay, yeah. So the whole thing, I don't want to say obviously everyone wants to be married, but I just am always amazed at how, I mean, we could all be married, I'm assuming, and could have been married and been divorced and unhappy. And, so I think the level of that is just so misplaced, like that we want to be, I've been engaged twice and I left, so it's just that whole idea that, of course, I think everyone wants a companion and everyone should want a companion. I think we're built for that. But the whole idea that, most people don't want to be married by 35. There are a lot of women who have careers and, that's not their objective. So,
and I know a lot of guys that like leftovers. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm not anybody's
throw that out there.
No.
But you know what I'm saying, Marcelina.
Pop them in the microwave.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes in the oven ain't bad either.
I was gonna say, you got to put me in the oven. I'm not microwave. No.
I'll microwave. I don't got time for all that.
Yolanda, let's go with people that Travis. All right, party bus Ruffin. His message was a good one. He told the truth. Really?
Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
I can't disagree with Travis. Like I said, he wasn't always wrong. A lot of the stuff that he talked about, like so most of it, like for women, really was accountability. Like I look back at some of the clips and like you have women on there talking about the minute they dated and then he'll turn around and ask them a question like, well, what do you want in a man? And you say, well, I don't know. I have no idea what I'm looking for. Or you have people that have cheated on their guys and then they're upset because the guy cheated back. It's a lot of stuff where they weren't taking accountability for some of the actions that they have. So I can't say he was always wrong, but his delivery was very much so wrong. There's a way that you can tell somebody about themselves and not dig into them, because like obviously these women are calling because some of them have low self-esteem, some of them don't feel their self-worth. So the opportunity that he had was missed a lot of times because of the way he delivered the message.
Yeah, and the messenger and the message, you have to make that distinction.
Yeah, you got to make it balanced. I looked at him as, to me, a modern day 2022 Michael Baisden.
Okay.
Like,
yeah. But okay, so let me ask you this. We got a short period of time, but there are these other guys who are out here like Jackson. What's it? Derek Jackson. The self-proclaimed, relationship expert who was married and cheating with numerous women on his wife. And then, when they come together, and he apologizes and she looks like a held captive, but a book comes out of this, right? And then what about the guy that just got murdered? What is this guy's
the
name?
African gentleman.
Yeah, Christian Abunsele, described as a Black man who spent his time dehumanizing Black women on social media, only to be murdered by his white girlfriend. So what are we looking for? Why are we going to these people for advice?
That's the thing. If in my opinion, going to these, we all know certain things. I mean, if what made him if I go to a doctor, if I'm sick, I want to go to a specialist. Or something, it's just anyone who's calling them for
but
him.
We're so hungry.
We're so hungry. So then then we are at fault. Then we're at fault. Then we're partly at fault for that.
Okay, so Danya says it's the society. Marcelina, you wanted to say what?
I want to say that, like, if you listen to the advice of the people, again, Derek Jackson, if you've ever been cheated on, you know a cheater when you hear him. Mm-hmm. He spoke cheater language. So he
right. He spoke the language, right?
Yeah, he was a cheater's handbook, So, and then why do I want to take advice from somebody that sit in a Sonoma truck 2010 telling me about what I should do with my dating life? Come on, bro. Like, no. Like, he was the template for it. You listen to his advice and you could tell it was all from experience. So, you can gain from that, but take the warning signs and keep going. But for it was, again, the delivery. Mm-hmm. We get caught up by drama and
like the drama.
And all of that masculine craziness that, you're like, oh my God, girl, he talking straight to me. You're like, oh, no. It's about delivery. Get somebody that reaches you at a level where you are and that you can process. Because when you listen to this negative stuff and take it in, you're not hearing the actual advice that may be good. You're listening to how he told it to you, and you're not going to receive that information. If you talk to me on the level where I am and give me something to think about, I can sit back on my own and make those proper decisions for myself instead of living in your shadow or your light, or how you talking to me, scolding me, treating me like trash.
But you're different, obviously, because that's what you needed, but other people needed exactly and were okay exactly what Derek Jackson was doing and what Kevin Samuel was doing. So, and
I'm not saying that I haven't been in a place where somebody had to shake me up. I've had girlfriends I'm the girlfriend that will talk to you and tell you that way. If I have a relationship with you, but sometimes people don't hear or see past their own BS. So sometimes you got to shake, and rattle the cage, because like I have friends that'll tell you if they want, don't call me and don't talk to me if you don't want the truth. Because I'm going to give it to you the way it's supposed to be given to you, that you'll listen to and tell you based on your behaviors. And some of that is what Kevin Samuels did. But you can't talk to everybody like that. If I got a girlfriend that I know that's broken and maybe has self-esteem issues, I'm not going to come at her and rah-rah-rah to her. I'm going to talk to her and ease it into her so she can accept it and understand it.
We are going to take just a breather because I feel all of the energy. I feel all of the enthusiasm in talking about this subject. I just wanted to just to take a breath. And as we wrap this up, I want to talk to you, Elena, and especially to you, Danya, talking about dating advice, because we know if you come to Marcelina, she's going to give it to you. But for your girls, Elena, this may not, may be something in the distant past for you. But for you, Danya, what's the best advice you could give your daughter as a young woman going out there and in this world in terms of relationships and dating?
One, to be comfortable. You have to really know yourself, before you can really truly be in any type of real relationship. I unfortunately didn't learn that until I was older. No one ever just sat down and said you need to be comfortable and confident in your own skin before you can even think about loving someone else and letting someone else love you. So one, be comfortable, be confident, and at the end of the day, be happy. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Everybody's going to have an opinion. Everybody always has something to say. Are you happy with your choice? That's it. That's all that matters.
Happy with yourself and happy with your choices. What about you, Elena? Looking back with your daughter and any kind of conversations you all had.
I mainly I told her to own whatever it is she did, be comfortable, and because own whatever you want to be, you know, the best street sweeper, we're gonna call it that, whatever. Own whatever it is, because those are your decisions. There's only so much I can carry. So at the end of the day, you're now at the stage where your decisions are going to affect your life. And when it came to relationships and, you know, the men portion, I always let her know, you know, never be with a man who's willing to let you work harder than him. Now, he could be a plumber and you could be a scientist, but as long as he's getting out and that's what he wants to do, and it's not about the financial part, it's just about, you know, a man should not ever allow you to outwork him in that way.
Okay.
And if he's, yeah.
So let's talk about you guys, and let's take I'm gonna take a breath because I'm excited. I like all of this energy and everything. But as we move into as we wrap things up, I got some more questions for you. Are you challenged by dating these days, Marcelina? Is it
absolutely?
What's your biggest challenge? Talk to us about that.
People really don't want to date. They just want to come over and chill. They just want to post
and
up.
Eat your cookies.
Listen, you can't get these cookies for free. Cookies are not for sale, but they definitely not for free. But that's another story for another day. But
yes, ma'am.
They don't want, and then it's a text nation. I don't want to text all day. I need conversation. I want to go back and forth with you, and texts get misread and you know, and misinterpreted, you know, and everything. So that's my real issue with it. If you on how you doing me or what you doing me to death, I don't want to go any further, because you know it's you're not ever getting to the meat of anything. You're not getting into my interest. I'm not getting into your interest, and that's where it is for me. Like they want to text all day, never hold a phone conversation. When it comes time to go out and do some things, it's always I have to be the person to plan it. Like if you take the time to ask me out what my interests are, okay, why are you not heeding what I'm telling you that I like to do and making a plan, or saying, hey, well, let's go out on Friday at this time, instead of you just tell me what to do and I'll meet you there. Nobody want to deal with that at this point, at this age. You know, like you should be able to have some kind of fortitude about yourself where you can figure out something or plan something.
Yeah. And you've been out in the world a minute. You got this.
I've been here for a little bit.
Elena, I'm getting nothing from you. I'm just you know, like Danya's nodding and Marcelina, but I'm getting nothing from you. Are you dating? What's your biggest challenge these days?
Well, so I don't really consider it a challenge, because
it's not a difficulty. Do you have issues like Marcelina said with texting?
I don't know where people are meeting people nowadays, but I don't do online dating. That's not what I don't do. And I have people that have, you know, suggested I do. I probably will never, and I can comfortably say never do online dating, because dating I'm just a believer in that, you know, kind of things happen when you happen. And I can't imagine just having all these random people that now are tied to me in some way. I just don't really get down with people like that. So I'm going to probably be single longer than most, if that's the case, because I don't have the time, the energy, or the desire to just meet people that way. So, you know, that probably is the biggest challenge. And now that we're in, you know, what are we doing? The pandemic. So now we work from home. So, you know, you can go to some things now every so often a mixed or an event, but I don't go out as much as I normally did. And so, people not just knocking on your door. And so if I did, they probably stalking me. So that'd be a problem.
Oh,
what about you, Danya? Are you having
thing.
any challenges?
Mine are very similar to Marcelina. Now, I will say that I do online dating just because I don't leave the house often because I work from home. I go to the grocery store. That's about it. So if I do want to meet someone, how am I going to meet someone? So I do online dating. And it is somewhat successful. It just, it's hit or miss, just like going out to the club, it's hit or miss. But I do run into people prefer to text. They can't carry a conversation. I have this thing where I'm very upfront, very honest. You can't move in with me because guys have this thing where they're looking for a home.
Oh my God.
Homosexuals.
Exactly. Yes. I have one child. That's what I take care of. So that's the most difficult thing. And I'm like with you, Marcelina. I want someone to make a plan. If you're asking me what I like, what am I interested in, you should be able to plan a date. It shouldn't always be on me to figure it out and to make it happen. So to me, I think that's the most difficult part.
So do you think that it's the medium of online dating of people having so many to choose from, and they're not really, it's like you're a fish in the pond of a gazillion people, and they're not really because
they're saying
but I'm saying out of all of my girlfriends who do online dating, it's like they're saying the same thing that you guys are saying, that it's just.
But honestly, it was the same even when I was going out clubbing all the time and I was meeting people in the club. It was the same issue. What I truly believe is that a lot of women these days are accepting of that. And so guys think it's okay. It's, this is what we do. And so when they meet someone like me or someone like Marcelina and we have higher expectations, it's like, what are we thinking?
It's a problem.
We're too good. So,
but isn't there an expectation to start from the standpoint of somebody at some point would have to know that, how do you get to the point where you have enough conversation with someone to know that they're not looking to move in with you, or they don't have a job? It just seems like to get to that point with
sometimes you can cut right through that.
Sometimes you can. That's what I would imagine. So then how is it, more consistently that, it's these adults, and I'm assuming they're older than 40, so, or even if they're 35 and older, let the men be the leftovers, right? 35 and older,
Have any of you ever considered a matchmaker?
I probably would do a matchmaker more so than the online dating, because I just think it's just so vast, and it cannot work out with matchmakers as well. But I just think that just the idea that, it's just so vast, and it's so vast, and it's so not, distinct either. I mean, it would be one thing if it's that, but just like you said, people can get on there and they can, you don't really know if they're telling it. Just, and I don't particularly want to date that bad. And one guy that I met, he said he was online dating, and he asked me why wouldn't I do online dating. I'm like, because online dating implies the very idea that I care a lot about dating, and I particularly don't care that much about dating. You just live, and that's my thought process.
But Elena, with all of your interactions so limited because of this, that seems as though that's your excuse for saying, I'm not meeting a lot of people, but what else would you do to meet these people? Because you just can't bump into people when you're in the house working.
And you said you don't want to meet them at the skate rink. So
yeah, you kind of now that COVID is over. I had a friend for a minute, and now that COVID's over, I expect, you can go out a little more, you can do that, but yeah, I don't know. I just think that yeah, I just think that, you know, online, you know, like I told my one of my girlfriends was saying, you know,
you know what I would love, and I hate to keep cutting you off, but you just bring up so many questions for me. I would love to do a profile, have someone do a profile for you and put it out there, because I'm not sure why you are so obstinate about, you know, not doing the online dating. I'm wondering if you, first of all, have had the experience, or if you have, it just wasn't a good experience.
no, I've never had it. I've never had the desire, or never, you know, I just,
And so you're just not open to it.
yeah, I'm not open to it. It's fine.
Okay.
I'm not open to it.
Tracy Scott says, I do Married at First Sight, the older
I
leftover series.
I might do Married at First Sight too, Tracy. The leftover series. I might do that. They might be tired and ready to just be done.
Nah, that I'm not doing. I'm not doing
I don't
that.
think I could do Married at First Sight.
I don't know if I
I'm
can
not
love
doing
or
Married at
Marriage
First
at
Sight
First
more.
Sight either,
Because
but I
it's
love
more
the idea.
it's more specific. Like I said, there at least there's an idea that they're trying, in theory, to match people who seemingly are at the same, have some same values.
It is similar to online dating. You can go in and you can find what you prefer, but it's just like, it's life. It's hit or miss. You just don't know until
you don't
get to
know.
know that person.
Okay, as
You
we
don't know
wrap,
what you don't know
is
until you meet that
But
person.
yeah, but it's not 100 people. It's 1 or 2 people, you know, that they choose. And so like the
you'd
100
be
people.
surprised how many people would swipe the other way and come back to you. I'm just
No,
saying.
I'm saying,
I'm
but you know, the whole idea, like, well, I was saying, well, my girlfriend was saying that there are no good men in the online.
That's a whole
dating
other
experience.
show. That's
Exactly.
a whole other show.
And
That's a
I was
whole
like,
other
well,
show.
if you dated 10 men in this month, if you've dated 10 men in a month, the odds of him dating 20 women or more, even if it's just to take them out for a snack or some tea, then it's probably likely that. So like when someone spread that thin, to me,
but that's the purpose of dating. I mean,
that's the purpose that we've made that the purpose of dating, because before we had online dating, it was a very specific scenario how people dated and met people.
Okay.
You didn't just, you know, so we've made that.
I think this discussion, we're going to have to come back and have another session at this, because our time is limited here. And I do want to leave this on a lighter note. So ladies, if you had the opportunity to date a celebrity you're currently crushing on, who would it be?
You know my answer, Sybil, so I can't say I can't date married men, but
Ward White. No, I mean there's a lot of people out there. I'll tell you my latest, and that's just because I saw his picture, and that's Jesse Williams on Broadway.
Now listen.
I was quite surprised by that. I
saw that picture today.
Yeah, we've all seen that picture probably by now.
Yeah.
How you doing, Jesse? I'll date him too.
Okay.
So
just a nice little stepping out the shower shot of Jesse Williams on stage on Broadway. And so that is mine. You all have any that you would like to just a celebrity crush?
My celebrity crush has always been Ice Cube.
Yes, you do. You have always loved some Ice Cube.
I love me some Ice Cube.
Yep, we know that.
He
That's
is
right.
cute.
Thank you, Sybil.
Yep. Marceline, you already,
you already know.
Who's your
Listen,
celebrity?
I was just saving the best for last. Mine.
Well,
It's Jamie Foxx.
I had to get mine
All day long, every day.
And if you could just get him to come back to some chocolate. All right, Danya.
Ooh.
See, I didn't do you like that.
Sorry.
I didn't do you like that.
Okay, he likes white
See,
chocolate.
if he came and dated me, he would be with chocolate.
You know what? You're absolutely right.
I believe it, Marceline.
Danya Banya, who do you think? Who's your celebrity crush?
it's all for as long as I can remember. If I'm going to crush on anyone, it would be Common.
Oh,
There's
that's
just
cute.
this
Oh, Lord.
vibe about
That's
him.
cute.
It's like, oh, this is so
Mhm.
sexy.
Yeah, yeah, and
Girl, it's only gonna last about a year, and then it's over with, don't you?
You're exactly right.
but it could be a great year.
It would
Yes,
be
it
a
could be a
great
great
year.
year. It could
It
be a
could be
great
a
year.
great year for whatever time. Just enjoy the ride. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Exactly.
His life is short. You just never know. And so
Yes.
it just make that the best year of his life and yours, and just keep it moving.
Right.
As my mama used to say, who was married 4 times. All right.
Love it.
Shirley Ann Tony Davis on Facebook says, "Give me Denzel Washington, heart, 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 exponentially." So Denzel still got it, and still does it for the ladies. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. We have Tracy says the commentator on TNT, James Jackson.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a nice one.
Yeah, he's nice too.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's a good one too. That's a good
If
one too.
if I was feeling cougarish, I'd probably drop down to Michael B. Jordan, though. But yeah.
Oh,
Yes, Lord.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, sexiest man
Absolutely.
alive. Yep. I agree.
Absolutely.
Rosemary Smith on Facebook said, "Remember when most women would say Billy D. Williams?"
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, that is cute.
That's
Who didn't
cute.
say that's cute?
That's
LL
what
Cool
Lena's looking
J,
for. That's
Nicole
what Lena's
Rome.
looking for.
Okay, so I'm looking. See, I ain't do you. She ain't do you. I ain't do you like that, Marcelina.
But that's the bracelet you're looking for to sweep you off your feet and
No, I'm not trying to be swept off my feet. That's fantasy. My granddaddy told me a long time ago, charming is only found in fairy tales. So I'm not all about that extra fantasy stuff, you know.
Okay.
So,
Okay. I think fantasy can go a long way. I had a crush on the keyboard player Larry Dunn from Earth, Wind, and Fire, says Angela GM on YouTube. The keyboard player Larry Dunn. I gotta look him up.
I know I have to look him up.
Yeah, me too.
I can't see anything but perm rods.
Didn't nobody say Uncle Charlie?
Uncle Charlie, probably for a certain age. Yeah, yep, absolutely. Idris all day, Doc.
Yeah.
All
yes,
day,
God.
Doc says on Facebook. Yes, Idris
Yes.
all day.
And that accent? Oh, yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yep,
Yes.
absolutely. All right, ladies, I can't thank you all enough. It's been a lot of fun. I thank you for your openness and for your willingness to come forward and have this conversation. I promise we'll do it again because there's a lot of things that we still haven't talked about regarding, and maybe we'll call upon you all again soon to get some updates on how things are going.
That will be fun.
Sounds good.
We're going to sign you up, Elena.
I say we do.
I appreciate the love, but I'm
call me Marcelina. Call me Marcelina.
All
right, we leave with our daily inspiration, Yogi's Jewel. Give yourself the gift of patience. It will save you a lot of worry.
So true.
No music? No.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste, Marcy. Namaste, Elena. Namaste, Danya. Everybody, thank you. Thank you for participating, everyone, and for joining us in the conversation. We appreciate you, and I promise we'll do this again. It's been another fun episode of It's Sybil. Go out there, be good to each other, and date. I love